All right. Hello, my name is Eric Potter. I'm an advisor in the Fellowships and Advanced Studies office. I'm here with Alexander Beattie. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. Alexander, just quickly introduce yourself for the people watching.
Hi, my name's Alex Beattie, and I'm a student of the class of 2020 at Mizzou. I majored in computer science, and in my Fulbright program, I'm studying at Lappeenranta University of Technology in Lappeenranta, Finland. I'm studying mechatronic system design.
Microtronic system design. Tell us, what is that?
Mechatronic system design is kind of the interdisciplinary connection of a lot of different engineering fields. And that's kind of a focus of my grant is really bringing together mechanical engineering, computer science, electrical engineering, hardware engineering, all these different facets of engineering. And I'm really focusing on bringing those together to kind of foster the next wave of innovation.
Interesting. Okay. And so how did you come to Fulbright and to seeing Fulbright as an opportunity to do that?
So, in the spring of my junior year, I took the opportunity to study abroad at Linnaeus University in Växjö, Sweden. And through that experience, I returned home after that semester, and I thought to myself, I had been receiving the emails from the fellowship office, but I kind of put it off because I was in Sweden and my mind was occupied on being in Sweden. But I came back and I started to think to myself, I was like, I would really like to go back and get another shot at trying to grow and learn in that system because I found that the education system was quite different and that it could offer me a lot to learn. And that's kind of what propelled me toward Fulbright. I considered a lot of different opportunities that were available fellowships wise, but landed on Fulbright because it just felt like the best fit for me. I didn't really have the research background uh, to do some of the really research focused applications. Although I was involved in research in my undergraduate. I just didn't have a project in mind that would really be suitable for something like Cambridge or other fellowships of that nature.
Yeah. Yeah. So talk to me about that application process of putting together those essays and choosing the actual university that you wanted to go to in the country to apply to.
Yeah, so I found out very quickly on this experience that Fulbright will only allow you to pick one grant per year. So you cannot apply to multiple different grants in a year, which I'm glad they do that because the application process is very intensive. I remember going through at least 8 rounds of revision on each of my essays, which I'm very glad I did. And since I was starting a bit late, I believe it's recommended to start writing in the spring. I started writing in August, so spent spent many nights just writing and reflecting and refining my statements and my essays to really capture kind of the essence of why I wanted to do this and what was the purpose of it all.
Yeah. What and so now tell me about your experience. You're in Finland still. What has that? I'm always curious the how well the actual experience has matched with that envisioning work that you did in the application phase.
Definitely, yeah. I think I'm really glad I chose Finland. And one of the reasons I originally selected Finland was I've always been drawn to the Nordics because my mom actually is from Finland and came to the United States when she was young, and because of that, I was raised in kind of a multicultural home with Finnish and U.S. influence, and so that part drew me there as well. And then also with my experiences in Sweden, I looked at how the education system works. It's relatively similar in most of the Nordics, and I looked on the programs available through Finland, and there's quite a diverse range of really awesome partnerships that Fulbright Finland has. I think they have partnerships with most of the universities in Finland, which there are 12. And They allow you to pick any major you'd like, and I looked at all the universities and found Lappeenranta's mechatronics program, and it really appealed to me because it seemed like a really nice interdisciplinary collaborative experience where it would kind of bring together all the elements that I'd wanted to learn and to grow on. Now actually being here and having done studies for almost a year, wrapping up the final month of my second semester out of 4, I've noticed that it's slanted a lot more heavily toward mechanical engineering, which is the skill set that I needed to work on and I was weakest in of all the things that I want to grow with. So it was really helpful there, but it was a bit surprising to me when I found out that. But everything else that I had envisioned and wanted to do was incredible. The nature and just the vast opportunities to be in the outdoors is incredible, especially during COVID and the pandemic, when a lot of traditional things that you could be doing are kind of canceled or put on hold. You can always take your bike out or go cross country skiing or go on a run or whatever you'd like to do. And before the situation worsened in Finland, I was able to join some instrumental ensembles, which I proposed to do, and also was able to, through a course, get involved with mentoring younger students in this interdisciplinary work that I'm referring to, because most of the students in this program have a very mechanical engineering focus and they don't know much about computer science. So I was able to kind of teach and guide some of those skills as well.
There you go. So what would you say, looking back, and I recognizing that you're still in the program, but just thinking back to what you learned through that self-reflection and the application process, and now in the time you spent in country, how much have you grown and changed in a way that you think your trajectory will be different moving forward than July before you started writing those essays?
Yeah, I think I've grown an incredible amount through this experience. It's allowed me to really refine taking kind of what your vision is and what you see as your goal and where you want to be, and actually putting in the steps to make that happen. Because when I first thought about this opportunity to have a Fulbright and to be a Fulbright scholar, I thought to myself, I was like, that's such a far off dream. It's so hard. Like I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I'm qualified. And just putting in the work and step by step going through the application process, which is arduous in and of itself. So making it through that is even a accomplishment to be celebrated. And then seeing along the way the benefits and the rewards of all this paying off is huge for me. I'm involved in things I wanted to be involved in and thought that I would be involved in something like them, but never really had the concrete knowledge. But now in my second semester, I took 2 courses for my minor with a professor that I really engaged with and enjoyed his lectures, and reached out to him. And now I'm involved in his research group and will be working on a topic there for my thesis. I also, through just interaction with a proprietor of a lodge in remote rural Finland, discussed a project involving generative wellness music and using machine learning algorithms and other techniques like that to actually create personalized meditation wellness music for individuals based on their biometric feedback. So I've had an amazing range of opportunities that this grant has kind of propelled me to pursue.
Very interesting. What would you say as a way of parting advice for students who, one, I mean, you've had the experience of being abroad during COVID, so maybe they're nervous because of the uncertainties that come with that, and I recognize that that's going to vary tremendously country to country. But then also those ones, I mean, you mentioned how looking at that opportunity and maybe not necessarily feeling qualified, like, oh yes, I'm so obviously a Fulbright caliber student, I think so many students underestimate their own abilities. So who might not have that off the charts confidence to walk in boldly and apply.
Yeah, I would say my biggest piece of advice is just go for it. I mean, send it. Like you're probably pretty qualified as it is. It's just about selling yourself and making a really really good application that showcases all of your strong suits. I know for my application, it was a major part of my application was focusing on interdisciplinary collaborations and how things that don't seem directly related to academics really help strengthen you as a person and also your studies and your academics. For example, music, I minored in music. That may not seem like a major proportion of studying mechatronic system design and robots, but in the example I talked about with the generative music, well, in order to make generative music, you need to understand music. I mean, it's frequencies and tones and things like that, but if you've never studied it from an artistic perspective, you won't have that foresight. And I think if I could change one thing looking back, I don't think I would. I really enjoyed the entire experience, and there was a lot of anxious waiting. And our cohort, there's three of us in Lappeenranta from across the U.S. and one's from California, one's New York, and one's from Missouri, which is me. And we all kind of found each other and collaborated together to make it to Finland in August. And we were actually the only three student grantees out of, I think, 18 or 20 to Finland that were actually able to make it. So even though it is COVID times and things may seem pretty bleak, it is definitely possible, uh, at least from my perspective, as you just have to keep pushing and pushing and driving, and as long as you do that every single day, and you'll have a great application, and I guarantee you won't regret filling out the application and doing it, because like I said, doing that application is a commendation in and of itself.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for making time for us, Alex. I appreciate it.
Thank you.